What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, looks like the IBF, International Boxing Federation, President Mr. Peoples, could be on a stripping campaign. As we know, they relieved Terence Bud Crawford of his undisputed status, and they have now elevated welterweight superstar Jerron Boots Ennis to the IBF official champion. So Terence Crawford is no longer the undisputed welterweight world champion. And now they're on the verge of stripping former undisputed junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Jamal Ironman Charlo. Jamal Charlo is now 35 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'11.5" with a 73.5-inch arm reach. He's coming off of suffering the second loss of his career when he took on 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez. That took place September 30th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. Jamal Charlo was dropped in the 7th round and lost a unanimous decision in favor of Canelo Alvarez, right? Prior to the fight, going into the fight, it was deemed undisputed versus undisputed because Canelo Alvarez is the undisputed super middleweight world champion and Jamal Charlo is the undisputed junior middleweight world champion. So you had the junior middleweight facing the super middleweight, right? And Jamal Charlo was relieved of his WBO, World Boxing Organization title, because he didn't satisfy his mandatory with Australian star, now WBO junior middleweight world champion, Tim Tszyu. Right? So Tim Tszyu is now the WBO champion. They allowed Jamal Charlo to stay the WBO champion for the introductions. As he was introduced the night of the fight against Canelo Alvarez for undisputed, he was introduced as undisputed, and immediately following, Tim Tszyu was elevated to the WBO champion. Now he has another mandatory for the IBF, and the deadline was yesterday, and they on the verge of stripping him if he don't come to an agreement with undefeated Russian mandatory challenger Bakram Matalias, okay, who has 21 wins, no losses, no draws, 15 wins by way of knockout, 30 years of age, 6 feet tall, with a 72-inch arm reach. So Jamal Charlo has to satisfy this mandatory, and they had a deadline was yesterday for them to, come to an agreement and give an update to the IBF for when they're going to have a showdown, or Jamal Charlo is going to be stripped. I personally hope Jamal Charlo follows through with this fight. Now, the fight everybody wants to see is Jamal Charlo versus Tim Tszyu, okay, or Jamal Charlo versus Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, after Jamal Charlo lost, Terence Crawford was on the verge of looking to pursue Jamal Charlo, right? He truly wanted to pursue Jamal Charlo after his July 29th Las Vegas, Nevada T-Mobile Arena showdown with Jamal Charlo close friend, stablemate, and training partner in Earl the True Spence Jr., who is now the former unified champion after Terence Crawford dethroned him. He wanted to become, that made Terence Crawford the undisputed champion in 2 separate weight classes, the first male to do so. Carissa Shields did it in women's boxing, but Terence Crawford became the first male to become undisputed in 2 separate weight classes, right? And so he wants to create history. Terence Crawford wants to set the bar high. He wants to be undisputed in a 3rd separate weight class, which was a huge storyline for Terence Crawford because Jamal Charlo has a close relationship with Errol Spence. Errol Spence is Terence Crawford's biggest rivalry to date. It only made sense, right? Terence Crawford, after dropping Errol Spence twice in the 7th round, was trash talking Jamal Charlo in the corner while the referee was counting Errol Spence. He was talking to Jamal Charlo, telling him he next. So everybody wanted to see that fight. But after Jamal Charlo performance, or lack thereof performance against Canelo Alvarez, he didn't assert himself. Terence Crawford said, I'm up off it. But for history, Terence Crawford would still take the fight. But the fact is, Jamal Charlo is now stripped of the WBO. And he's still the unified WBA, WBC, and IBF world champion, but he's on the verge of losing the IBF. So I would like to see Jermell Charlo fight against Bakram Martazaliev. I would like to see him fight him, keep his IBF title. Terence Crawford has to rematch Errol Spence. They have a rematch clause. Terence Crawford rematches Errol Spence. Looks like it possibly could be in February. He rematches Errol Spence. He beats Errol Spence. That's going to be at 154. And Terence Crawford could fight Jamal Charlo for a unification bout. Or, Jamal Charlo can fight Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu has to be in the mix somehow, some way, right? Because Tim Tszyu is the WBO champion. That would mean that Terence Crawford would need to fight at least 3 fights at 154. He would have to fight either Errol Spence, Tim Tszyu, and Jamal Charlo, or Jamal Charlo and Tim Tszyu fight. They could fight if Jamal Charlo fights Bakram and beats him. He keeps the titles. He fights Tim Tszyu for Undisputed, right? He could be a 2-time Undisputed champion, Jamal Charlo. Then Terence Crawford could fight the winner of that fight, and then look to close out fighting Canelo Alvarez, as he wants to become a 4-division Undisputed world champion. So I truly hope that Jermell Charlo satisfied his mandatory, don't allow himself to be stripped, because now you pushing Undisputed further away, right? If he gets stripped and they elevate like they did Jerron Boots Ennis just 24 hours ago, they elevate. I think they're waiting for the ruling because they just finished doing that with Jerron Ennis and Terence Crawford at 147, which is a clear indication that Terence Crawford is moving up to 54. But if they strip Jermell Charlo this belt, now there's going to be 3 champions. Now the road to becoming, look at it, look. Now the road to becoming Undisputed at 154 just got extremely wide. It just gotten extremely wide once again. And the road for Terence Crawford to become Undisputed, it just gotten bigger. Now he would have to go through Bakramov. He would have to go through Bakram, he would have to go through Tim Tszyu and Jermell Charlo, or the winner of Tim Tszyu, Jermell Charlo, then fight Bakram. So it just the road to becoming Undisputed in 3 separate weight classes just gets extremely difficult. And I would like to see Terence Crawford become Undisputed in 3 separate weight classes. Historic. That would be historic for his generation. That would definitely solidify him as the greatest fighter of his era. So they had 24 hours, and we see the IBF is not playing. Jerron Ennis has been elevated. Bakram is a very good fighter, solid fighter. Maybe we could get Bakram and Tim Tszyu facing off against one another. You know what I mean? Maybe we get Tim Tszyu and Bakram in the unification bout, and then Jermell Charlo could fight the winner of that fight, right? If he's stripped. There's just a lot going on, man. Too many moving parts, too many belts in the sport of boxing, and it just causes more and more confusion. That's what it does. It just causes more and more confusion, man. They need to limit the amount of champions that there is in the sport of boxing, and stripping these fighters and elevating this fight is just causing more confusion, man. So let's see how this unfolds, man. But I truly hope that Jermell Charlo finds a way to fight this fight with Bakram. This to help him get back in. It's a good fight for him to get back in that win column. To erase that. The last outing we saw him with Canelo Alvarez. Bakram is a tough fighter, strong fighter that has power. It's a good fight for him, solid fight for him to get back in that W column. But I don't know here's another thing. Is Jermell Charlo even going back down to 154? He just added all those pounds and all that muscle to go to 168. Is Jermell Charlo going to go back down to 154? Right? Don't seem like he's interested in negotiating. He just fought September 30th. We are in November. That was just a little over 2 months ago. So we got to see, if he even plans on going back down to 154, right? He got to make a decision. But again, if he stays I think Jamal Charlo will probably, I don't know if he's going to go back down to 154. It seems like he might go to 160. But who knows? He said he wanted to go down to 154 and defend his throne. He's the king at 154. Going to 168 was too much weight for him, was too big. Is he going to go back to 154? Is he going to go to 160? These two fights, what do they do for Jamal Charlo in his career? The Tim Tszyu fight is a big fight for him. The Terence Crawford fight would be a huge fight. That's the fight he said he wanted. But it got to be enticing to Terence Crawford. But if I'm Terence Crawford, I would look to fight Jamal Charlo after Errol Spence. Now, maybe Jamal Charlo can fight Bakram, get the victory, save his title. Terence Crawford fights Jamal Charlo after he fights Errol Spence. He's still the unified champion, and Terence Crawford still has to fight Tim Tszyu. Then he fighting Tim Tszyu for Undisputed, right? So there's a lot to be unpacked. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. So all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.